People that fucking know and shut your
Why was
goddamn
George
television
H.W. Bush in Dallas the day of the JFK assassination?
I don't know, Johnny.
As a CIA agent.
I don't know. But you're fucking getting nuts, and I don't want to do this podcast with you anymore. You're talking weird shit. You're losing your mind.
It's fucking bullshit.
You shouldn't have gone on that acid trip in Colorado. You haven't been the same since, you fucking
stupid.
crazy asshole.
I wish I was on an acid trip in Colorado.
And then had these realizations.
That would have been a fun experience. Yeah.
Well, I had a little bit of fun in Colorado a few months ago. And I came back changed, brother. Entitled Millennials podcast. This is episode number 23. Got John Boy in the house here as usual, my co-host John Boy Wild. We got Roman Gonzalez running the computer.
What it do?
Good man. Appreciate you being here, brother. Seriously, helps us out a lot. We got a little bit of a shorter show today, but as you all know, there's been a lot of stuff in the news about the caucus, so we're going to be talking about Johnny and I's individual experiences on caucus night, and we're going to be breaking down some of the shady shit that's been going down, and discuss some of the stuff about these candidates and do a little speculation on where we think things are going to go for New Hampshire and Nevada and all that. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, help us grow. We're almost to 400 subscribers now. Like I said, we're getting about 5 a day, so we'll probably hit that 400 mark either today or tomorrow. If you want to help us out, you can, get on Facebook, get on Instagram, get on whatever social media you use, and, send a message with a link to one of our videos and be like, hey, check these guys out. Subscribe to them. They got a pretty cool show. Like I said, we're going to try to get to 1,000 subscribers in 1 year, and with your guys' help, I think we can do it. To further support the podcast, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/double_D. There you can access all of my written work, including poetry, flash fiction, and full-length short stories, all for less than what you spend on a cup of coffee or lunch every day. Show your loyalty, help us grow, get some revenue coming in so that we can eventually quit our jobs and start doing this full-time for you guys. To further support the podcast, you can check out our sponsor, Bingley's Teas, at janeaustenteas.com. There you can find high-end teas hand-picked and mixed by the lovely Miss Julia. Or you can visit Julia in person at 118 East 26th Street, suite number 208, to satisfy that deep tea addiction and to be taken on a tea tour of the world. All right, guys, let's jump into this episode number 23. All right, Johnny, nice to have you here. How you doing today, man?
Pretty good.
So I think maybe everybody knows there's been all this fuckery going on with the caucus. They're not showing results. They tried to hide the results. There was a shady app being used that didn't work.
And what's the name of the app? Shadow. The name of the company, Shadow Incorporated.
Shadow Incorporated.
I don't know if the app's called Shadow. I think it is, though.
Yep. Just the whole, I knew some corruption was going to go down. I knew things were going to be a little wily, but I really didn't expect this much of a shit show. I really didn't.
No, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
And I do think it's funny just because, like, I don't know what the intent was here, but, like, Sanders has the paper trail proving the actual numbers, so.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep. Before we get into all the nitty-gritty details, I figured maybe we discuss a little bit of our own personal experiences. I know you were a precinct captain. I was a precinct captain. How was your experience? What ward did you have? You had, like, ward... Do you remember?
Ward 4, Precinct 2.
Yeah, and how was it there for you? That was at Lincoln Intermediate, right?
Yeah,
High school
in their
IC.
There was, like, 3 different ones going on there, but it was pretty good at mine because, like, the caucus chair, whatever the hell they call it, and then, like, the secretary was, like, Bernie people, so
nice.
I didn't have to really worry about them doing some fuckery, if you know what I mean. I was a little nervous, though, because, like, the Amy Klobuchar people, the Biden people, I wasn't worried about the Biden people because I saw they only had, like, they had, like, 8 people there right away, but then, like, one more person showed up.
That's it?
Yeah, and then the Klobuchar people all got there right away, so I was a little nervous with that. But yeah, and then the Bernie people showed up like last minute, and we had the most people. So
that's how it was at my caucus too. I showed up there kind of later than I probably should have because I had to go and drop you off, make sure you got set up. And I got there and like everybody was already set up. Yang, Klobuchar, Warren, Biden, everybody already had a corner, and it was like the room was plenty big, but I ended up like with the far wall, which ended up being great in the end because we completely filled it up. But I went in there and, you know, unfortunately our training wasn't as good as it should be. Thankfully, you and I had done this sort of thing to a degree in 2016, so we knew what to expect, kind of knew what to do. Yeah. But I showed up there and I was like, yeah, just super nervous because first off, I couldn't see any noticeable Bernie people right away. And I was like, fuck. Yeah. Because we had some concerns that, and nothing against
so many people come out of the woodwork to vote for these scumbags, dude.
It's weird. Well, it's because it's like older people and they're retired and they have the time to do it and they don't have to make any conjunctions or conditions to get in there. They can just show up because, like, what the fuck else do they got going on, you know?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, that's a big part of it, man.
Dude, this Klobuchar guy, their precinct captain or whatever you want to call, I think he was the precinct captain. I don't know if he called himself that, but he was the one setting the Klobuchar stuff up. But, dude, he gave his reasonings to Bobby Gomez because Bobby Gomez was there. And asked him, like, why are you voting for Klobuchar? Yeah. Dude, it was all just based off, like, who she is. Like, not about the policies.
Like her identity.
Yeah, I was just sitting there listening, dude. I almost, like, wanted to go off. Like, I was just like, oh, my fucking God.
Yeah.
The shit these people show up to vote for is the dumbest.
And they're, like,
reasons.
passionate about it. That's what's wild. Dude, I know. Dude, how many times have we talked about... I think we've probably talked about that sort of thing on the podcast, like, nearly every fucking episode. But there's a reason for that, because it's just... we sit here and try to discuss it on the podcast for, like, 10 minutes every episode, and we're just like, I don't get it. Like, how are you going to get... It's just weird, man. Like, I'm so... I don't know anything about the policy or, like, what this person wants to do. It's all the same old shit, but, like, because they're a woman, because they're a person of color, because they're gay... That's amazing to me. Wow, that gives me hope. I'm gonna go and vote for this person. Meanwhile,
I literally never think about that stuff when thinking of who I'm gonna vote for.
I don't care.
It doesn't even cross my mind to like their identity and shit.
I mean, it does in the end. Like, say if Tulsi Gabbard like ran for president, or she is running for president, but if she won the presidency, I'd be like, wow, like how badass that we did finally get a woman president. And a woman of color president, and like how amazing that she's all these things and a badass. And
one thing about Tulsi too, I am a little shocked that like nobody showed up to vote for her.
That is weird. I did notice that.
I think all the people that would have voted for her went to Bernie. Like,
yeah,
I think had Bernie not run, I'm just really glad Bernie ran because all this fuckery. Mm-hmm. It would have worked much better against someone like Tulsi who doesn't have the name recognition.
Didn't have the groundwork. Didn't have the machine going.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, actually, at my caucus, there was 2 Tulsi people.
Was there?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there was in some places, but not viable is what I mean.
Yeah, like, and they kind of, like, were off on their own. And actually, one of the kids I worked with, sorry, man, I can't remember your name, but shout out if you're watching the show. I know you said you're going to subscribe. So, nice meeting you there, man. But, yeah, they were kind of off on their own, and I didn't know, like, who they were with. And then once Bernie people started to show up, they came up like towards right before we started stuff, and they were like, hey, I don't think anyone's here for Tulsi, so we're just gonna... And I had a nice conversation with them.
Oh, so they didn't even do the realignment thing? They
didn't even have a precinct captain there.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure not.
Which was just kind of odd, because...
I mean, it was like last minute that Bernie got every precinct captain.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, there's like 1,600 something precincts, so I can see it.
Is there really that many? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. All throughout Iowa.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sounds like you had a pretty tame experience. I remember in 2016, it was just like... Well, here's the thing. My whole caucus was kind of a boondoggle a little bit because nobody knew what was going on fully. There wasn't anybody trained there. We had to elect a chairman. There was somebody there that was like for an intermediate chairman. There was an older black man that was... He kind of knew, but he was like, dude, I don't want to do this. Like, he's like... Come on, somebody wants to be chair. And Randy Black, who we discussed on the last episode, ended up being chair, which that went fine because, and honestly, I was kind of glad that he stepped in to do it despite having our political differences because say what you want about him, say what you want about his political views, he has the experience to do this sort of thing.
And I don't know if he would do anything shady. I don't think I think he believes in the process.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was nice, and he worked really hand in hand with me and like kind of taught me the stuff and like showed me the booklet and walked me through it, and I helped him out, and it went really well. And then we also did have, I think, our secretary, so you have like the chair and then the secretary or whatever that kind of like double checks everything. She was a Bernie supporter. So it was all just kind of like really good. Everybody worked together well. At your caucus, what did the numbers turn out as?
So I don't know how the fuck Amy got people to turn out, but
that blew my mind as well, dude.
Fucking, so 19 people, like final alignment. I'm just going to go with the final numbers.
Yeah.
Even though I just want to say, because I know he's not watching because he doesn't know us, obviously, but to the kid our age who was for Yang and then went to Pete Buttigieg, fuck you.
Yeah. Dude, for real, that's
seriously pissed me off, dude. He like made me mad, like legitimately.
Why, was
like,
he a dick about it, or was he just...
No, but dude, he acted like he was gonna come for Bernie and then like filled out Pete Buttigieg because the Pete Buttigieg precinct captain put a slight amount of pressure on him.
Oh, really?
Like just went over and like hounded him for 30 seconds, and that's all it took to switch.
Yeah.
Fuck you. But anyways,
yeah, that's ridiculous because Yang is like...
Dude, there was 4 Yang people. Had they just come to Bernie, we would have just flat out, we would have got one more delegate than Amy Klobuchar.
Yeah.
But 1 went to Pete, 2 went to Amy, and I think 1 went to Biden. So Biden had 8 people at first and then 1 over.
Yeah.
But then, yeah.
So what did you end up with altogether for numbers?
All right, so overall there was, I believe we got 9 delegates total.
Yeah.
Like for the whole precinct.
Yeah, yours was a little bigger than mine.
State delegates, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. And then, so we got 3, and we got the most amount of people, so 19 people. There's 57 people total. Mm-hmm. Bernie got 19 people. Klobuchar got 16 people. Pete got 12. Biden got 9. Warren and Yang weren't viable, and there was nobody else there for any other candidate.
So that was a pretty...
So to break down the delegate count, Bernie 3, Klobuchar 3, Pete 2, Biden 1.
So that was a pretty even spread, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so at mine is interesting. You know, I showed up there. Our training was last minute because the campaign has just been so hectic trying to do all the last minute phone banking, door knocking, and whatnot. Like I said, thankfully, we kind of had some experience with what to do. I showed up there and there was like no Bernie people, like noticeable Bernie people, and I started setting things up, and I even kind of got in like an argument, not like a real argument, with the Yang. There was a girl there who was a precinct captain for Yang.
She was probably intense, huh?
No, not really.
They're passionate about the fucking Yang.
I mean, no, not necessarily, but because I went and like there was like kind of she was sort of at this one table, and then there's like this pillar, and then there's a table right here. And I set up all my stuff on this table, and then I like went and like kind of started to like, I was gonna get ready to put up a sign like at that pillar, and then she goes and starts taping shit up right there, and I was like, oh fuck, I'm not gonna say anything, but I was like, that would be like our spot to kind of hang stuff. And then so I like went, and by that time a couple of Bernie people showed up, and then I went and like hung up a sign, and then she kind of like had an attitude with me, like, but not like super rude. She was just like, so are you like taking the spot? Because we were like right next to each other. I'm like, I didn't think anybody was here, and this and that. And she's like, so are you making me move? And I was kind of just like, it was just a super awkward situation. I'm already nervous. I already kind of like don't know what I'm doing. And then we ended up, the Bernie people that were there were like, hey, why don't we just move these tables over here? And I'm glad we did, because we went up against this like wall, and we had like a big long table, and I got 2 more tables, and then like tons of Bernie people started showing up. And at the beginning, we ended up with like 24 people. And then when we did the first vote, it was Bernie with like 24, Pete with like 14, Biden with 13. Like Pete and Biden both just barely were viable for the amount of people. There's 85 people there total. And then we did the realignment, and Warren, which kind of surprised me, was unviable. I think she really...
It really didn't surprise me that she did it like she did. I honestly expected it to be this outcome. I knew Pete was going to do well. Just, you saw all the Pete signs. He had the groundwork here.
Yeah.
Put all his big billionaire money.
Mm-hmm.
And I should be nice. Like, he did get small donations. Like, it's not like he's pure billionaire funded, but he's...
Yeah, but when you get those big billionaire donations from corporations, it doesn't matter the amount. Like, as soon as as soon as you've gotten that money, the individual donations you got are just bullshit. It's just dumb people giving you money.
Yeah, well, it just makes me sad that there was like really passionate people. Like I know a couple who were for Bernie last time that went for Pete this time. And
it's so weird, man. That stuff really just blows me away.
Dude, if you listen to his victory speech, it was hard to not tune out, dude. I was with a bunch of other people, and like, it's hard to even listen to the guy. He's full of shit, dude. I don't know how your bullshit meter doesn't go off with Pete Buttigieg.
Some people just don't have a bullshit meter.
And he's trying to sound like Obama, man. Like the way he talks.
Yeah, the enunciation and
since
the
when he first
and the
announced,
pacing.
he's definitely changed how he talks.
Yeah.
It's fucking cringy.
But anyway, so Warren,
Yeah,
no, it's fine. Warren, Yang, and Klobuchar at my district ended up not being viable, which was like 20 people ended up not having to realign. And so we did the realignment period, and like during the realignment period, everyone like kind of starts to get up and like hustle and bustle to get voters. And I had been through this last time, and it just feels wrong.
Yeah.
Like going up to somebody and being like, hey, like it's just super awkward.
Well, because they're all let down that their candidate.
Yeah, and so here you come, you're like,
Yeah.
let me get a flat to your ass.
Yeah.
And it just like feels fucking wrong as shit. And so I went through that in 2016 and I'm like, I'm not doing that. And so we had a microphone, right? And everyone starts to do that and the room starts to get into a clamor. And I was like, no. And so I went up to Randy and I was like, Randy, let me get that microphone. And then I like got it. And I was like, everybody, let me get your attention, please. And like everybody stopped, right? And then I like started giving the speech, and as I was giving the speech, I walked around to each of the Yang people, and I like kind of got with them and like touched a couple of them, and I went to the Klobuchar, and I just really put on that political guise and stuff, and I am passionate about this, and I believe in Bernie's message. So, and I just gave a speech about like we're building a movement. We had 30,000 people in Michigan, 30,000 people in New York, 30,000 people in the State Fair. Look at our corner. We got black people, we got Asian people, we got colored people, we got gay people, we got everybody in this country. And I was like, we can do a Green New Deal. We can do this. We can take the Congress and the Senate to get these things done. We can have legal marijuana. And I just like really hammered it home, and you could like tell everybody was like, holy shit, maybe they had a thought about going to like some other candidate, but like the people, I gave a speech, it was really good. And I'm not trying to like tote myself and stroke my ego, but I'm glad I was in the zone to do it because it was necessary. And in the end, and then everybody kind of did a round circle since I picked up the mic and did a discussion, and I ended up kind of getting in like a little political spat with the precinct captain of Buttigieg. Mm-hmm. Nothing bad, just good civil, back and forth with. And it actually turns out I like saw this chick and I was like, I know you. Later at the end of the caucus, I ended up talking to her and I'm like, dude, I know you from somewhere. And she's like, yeah, I babysat at Emerson for like 3 years. Because they have like a little in-home daycare. And I was like, oh shit, I'm sorry. But it was cool. But yeah, she was all about like trying to shit on my message a little bit, like not in a negative way. But she was like, remember, it has to get through the Senate and stuff. And then I was like, I rebutted. I'm like, we're building a grassroots movement, not me, us. It's not about Bernie. He's the one getting people mobilized to go and run for mayor, run for city council, run for every level of office that will make it so that we can have a grassroots revolution. And it was just like, and then after that, 10 people ended up coming over to our side, which ended up getting us another delegate.
See,
and the rest split to the
I wish
others.
I could have done something like that, but I could just tell that these people weren't going to come for us. Like, I tried to talk to this woman, and she flat out, like, started to ignore me and started talking to someone else, and I was like, ah. Yeah. So I just got up, and I was like, dude, we need to turn out progressives, young people, and independents, and an establishment candidate is not going to do that.
Yeah.
And then I just looked at them all and then sat down.
Yeah.
Some of the Bernie people with me were like, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
When I was like, dude, we're not going to get these people.
When I gave this speech, people on the Bernie side, like, and some of the Yank, like, literally clapped and like went like hysterical, and it was super epic, man.
Well, dude, I just don't know how you go from Yang to Klobuchar or Pete.
Yeah.
Even when Yang himself pretty much said you should go to Bernie in the second alignment. Mm-hmm. Which, that's the one regret. I should have told the Yang people that, but I was just like, it is like intense, dude, because you're like worried about winning, and it is like nerve-wracking, I should say. Like,
yeah, I'll say this about the caucus. First off, it needs to be gotten rid of. We need to have a primary system.
I'm just conflicted, dude, because in a way, it was ranked choice voting.
What do you mean?
Because you pick your first person, and then when they're not viable, you pick your second person.
Okay, yeah, true.
And the thing is, like, all this fuck up, it's never happened like this, dude. Before they fucking get technology involved and these shady ass apps,
yeah,
it's always recorded the night of.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I kind of like the caucus in a way because, dude, you get the passionate people out, and who are passionate people usually? Ones like Bernie. The only thing is, dude, honestly, this is me conspiratorial talking.
Okay.
But I feel this entire fuck up and all this has been to get rid of the caucus and to remove Iowa from being number one. I think, and I've heard rumors that they want to do like a mini Super Tuesday to start it out now, like South Carolina, Iowa, New Hampshire.
Like lump them all into one?
Yeah. Which I don't hate that idea either, but I don't know, man. I feel like they're just trying to do stuff to hurt the momentum of progressive, non-corporatist candidates.
I would agree with you. You know, okay, to finish my thought about the caucus, because what you say is all very true. But the way, okay, so my perspective, and you might have actually kind of changed my mind a little bit, but the caucus is very antiquated. It's very confusing. And in the end, I think I read a figure like only 16% of Iowans come out to vote in the caucus because it's a time commitment.
How many come out to vote, though, in a normal general election?
Dude, I'm guaranteeing you it's a lot more than 16% because you can go at any time of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, just for that reason, the fact that more people, if we're a democracy, we want as many people as possible to vote.
Also, one last thing.
What's up?
The caucus has a paper trail.
That's a good point.
And everyone knows what happened at their precinct.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, dude, I don't know what the goal was with this app. Maybe it fucking just crashed like they're saying, and it is a big fuck up. But I think it's a lot more treacherous than that. I don't know. I just think the end game goal here was to screw us out of getting a victory, but it's not. They're not able to because Sanders has his numbers, knows what happened, and has lawyers.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a lot easier to screw over candidates when you have voting machines. And don't have a paper trail.
Okay, so yeah, I think there's there's pros and cons, right? Unfortunately, the caucus kind of is a form of voter suppression. Like, the reason why it's lasted this long is because they know people don't turn out for it because it's a pain in the ass to go. But yeah, at the same point, you bring up all these things like, yeah, with the voting machine, like they could just not count the votes. We saw that with Alex Padilla in California. We saw it in other places where they just didn't count them. They fucking probably hit them somewhere. They had rooms that were like, oh, here's 200,000 votes. So yeah, like totally, I understand that. But at the same time, the primary system allows more people to turn out to vote, right? Because I know so many, and it's frustrating and pisses me off, so many people that didn't go because they couldn't because of their jobs, because we have a right to work law state in this country where they can't, you know? And then also, people don't know, and they're nervous and they don't go, and like that's no excuse, but nonetheless it happens. Whereas I know so many young people that reach out to me last minute, which fuck you guys, like you've seen my posts over months, like come on, get a hold of me before, right? But they're like, I don't know where to go, I don't know what to do, and you can only help so many people, like, you know. So there's that, and then I do feel like a primary system would be better, but you're right in that there is the fraud that can happen, but I feel like there could be some way to negate that.
Well, here's another thing, like why do we do the primaries over a period of fucking months, or whatever it is? Why don't we just have one primary day, make all voting a national holiday, and have paper ballots for the voting? No voting machines. So every state votes on the same day.
And then they take a few weeks to count everything.
Yeah.
And you could have each individual campaign count it.
Then you could eliminate the time campaigns have to go out and campaign.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't. The whole primary thing. I swear it's all set up just so they can fucking tamper.
Like even the part of it that it takes so long over time.
Yeah, because you go state by different fucking state. There's different ways they fuck with shit. Like I think New Hampshire will be fine because they're like
full force.
I haven't seen shady shit go on in New Hampshire.
No, didn't Bernie win that with like 70% or some shit in 2016?
No, but it was quite a bit. It wasn't like 70 though.
It was like a huge number.
He won Washington by a huge number.
Yeah,
like 90% or something.
Okay, yeah. So I think that would be a good idea. I mean, maybe not all in one day, but over 2 weeks or a month. Because like, look, all 50 states, millions and millions. Like, it's a lot. It's going to shut the system down. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
In the general election.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
And I'm just a firm believer in getting rid of the voting machines. That's all I know. I don't. Like, they've proven they can be hacked into. Mm-hmm. There's always some fuckery with them. Mm-hmm. Oh, and just to say, prepare for what's going to happen in California. You know what's going to happen in California?
What's going to happen?
The voting machines, there's like 4 pages of candidates. Bernie's not on the first page.
Are you? Wait, what?
Yeah, they just spent like hundreds of millions for these new machines, and you have to like hit next. You have to scroll through the pages to get to Bernie.
Dude, that's a fucking lawsuit.
And Zenk Uygur, who's running for Congress, is on like page 4.
Why? It's a Democratic primary. Who are the fucking front runners? Why is there 4 pages?
I don't know. Because there's
votes for like other officials and shit.
But you know what they're doing.
No, I know, but like, do the other votes another fucking time.
And not even that. You can watch. You can go type if people are interested. Go look up on YouTube. It's on YouTube. Uncounted: The Untold Story of the California Primary, and it goes through what happened in 2016.
We should watch that again sometime.
Dude,
soon.
last minute they had people sign up to be like in charge of their polling precinct.
Yeah, I remember that.
They drop the voting machines off at your house.
Yeah.
This shit could be tampered with easily, man.
Yeah.
Like, and then they were handing out provisional ballots that never got counted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that. Which provisional ballots are, dude. Here's the thing that's super unfortunate and fucked up. We shouldn't have to do paper ballots. It's you see this? It's a fucking supercomputer in your hand. You should not even have to leave your house. You should just be able to go in and type in your social security number in a thing and be like, okay, I'm voting for so and so. But Johnny, you're right. We can't do that. We're gonna have to for the dude. We could be like in space travel with like Star Trek, like warp, fucking off to like another galaxy and shit, right? Mm-hmm. But we're still gonna have to do fucking paper ballots because of corruption. You know, because of the nature of like software and computers and shit.
I mean, how are we ever gonna prove that the technology isn't being tampered with? I don't think there's any real way.
There isn't, and like. And if you could, it would be like a whole convoluted process. Like, but really, no, it's just too much.
I think the big shocker on all this is that they haven't blamed Russia.
Yeah, you were like saying that.
I thought for sure they were gonna say Russia hacked into the app, dude. I was just waiting for it.
I wish it would.
That breaking news, Wolf Blitzer standing there with his boring ass face. Fucking. I was just so prepared for it. I'm just shocked they didn't do it.
Hey, it's not too late though.
Oh, I know.
Let's give it another week.
And then what did they say they were doing? The reason they weren't releasing the results all at once was for quality control.
Yeah. What is that? Well,
that just sounds like some shady shit.
I mean, I understand it in that you're trying to double check everything. You don't want to let out the wrong shit, but at the same time, like, dude, okay, so let's break this down a little bit because we're kind of bouncing around or whatever. Look at all the sketchy shit that happened, dude. Okay, so the first thing is it was a whole fuck up. The Caucus App fails.
Dude, they didn't even test it statewide scale before.
Yeah, like...
And they didn't even tell people they were going to be using this app till January, dude.
What the fuck, dude?
And, fucking... Not the FBI.
Dude, why don't you...
Some big group, some important... offered to test it. In that Iowa Democratic Party denied.
Like maybe an omnibus sort of organization.
No, dude, it wasn't. It was some official government entity that wanted to test it.
Well, yeah, like I'm saying, like an omnibus, which is like like an organ of the government that's supposed to be nonpartisan that like double checks for corruption and fraud and blah blah blah. Right?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was though.
Okay, so yeah, first off, this Caucus App fails. That's one thing. If the Caucus App failed, I'd be like, okay. Because we've had how many issues with minivan, how many issues with the Burn app. Like, shit happens.
Should have tested it, though.
Yes. But not only did that happen, the phone system that's tried and true over what? How long?
Do you know what they're trying to say
Collapsed too.
They're trying to say trolls called and flooded the lines.
Bullshit, dude.
How would the trolls know that?
Well, those are the Russian bots.
Yeah, but it's just
Like
like how did the trolls know? And maybe there were online trolls because there are people.
There
who are
ain't
really,
going to be enough to
they
shut
knew
down
that
something.
the app was going to be down. I mean, it just doesn't. Yeah, I don't know, man.
There's no way there was enough trolls that called in order to. Sorry, Roman, that's me. There's no way that there's enough trolls that could have called in to shut down a phone system that's meant.
Well, and there was
for
someone live on
hundreds of thousands
CNN.
of people to call in.
There was someone live on CNN who they answered, and he didn't answer quick enough, and they hung up on him.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Caucus App fails. The phone system that's been tried and true for how many years fails. While all this is happening and 0% is reporting in, Pete Buttigieg makes a tweet that is like obviously a victory tweet. I've heard some people trying to say like that's not a victory tweet. That's just him like trying to like.
Dude, I had a woman tell me that he didn't say he was victorious in his fucking speech. He literally says he's victorious.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know what people watch and see. I only listen. I listen to parts. I tried to listen to the whole thing, but dude, I literally could not.
So yeah,
he's full of shit.
So meanwhile, while none of the information is coming in, like at this point when he made that tweet, there was no information. Like it was like nobody knows anything. We don't even know if there was one delegate or not, right? And he says we're going to New Hampshire victorious.
And to be fair to him, I'm sure he's looking at his internal numbers just like Bernie is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just seemed shady.
Well, and that's what. And now we get into the next thing. He makes this tweet, and then we find out that Buttigieg and Biden both donated tens of thousands of dollars. Or not donated.
Yeah, I keep saying donated too.
Yeah.
They paid this company.
They paid the company Shadow Incorporated, which is fucking a fishy-ass name, right? They paid Shadow Incorporated that developed the Caucus app that failed tens of thousands of dollars for subscriptions and fees.
Also, look at who created this app. It's all like Clinton people and Democratic Party insiders.
So there's three fishy ass
Some
things.
Buttigieg donor is one of the main guys behind the creation of it too.
Dude, yeah. You know what's fucked up is other than in the FBI is like this kind of like falls onto the FBI for them to do this sort of shit. But we need to have like in the European Union, and they got their own problems and shit, but the European Union has it's called the EU Omnibus, and I was kind of talking about this earlier. An omnibus is like supposed to be an investigatory organization that checks into all the levels of government for all the different shit to make sure that there isn't outright fraud and bullshit going on. We need to have something, and maybe we do, maybe I'm not educated, but we need to have something like that in this country that make sure that there's no conflict of interest with things like elections, with things like campaigns and shit. So this organization would be like, oh, you want to develop a caucus app. Okay. Who's gonna develop it? And then they're going to see, oh, we're going to have this person, this person, this person. And you're like, those people are all like part of the upper echelon of the DNC, and we know there's a conflict of interest there. No. Pick another company. You know what I'm trying to say?
Well,
like,
yeah, here's the thing, and they're trying to say Microsoft and Google and like these other companies offered to make the app, but they didn't. Like, they're so full of shit. The reason they had this shadow company make the app is because it's Democratic Party insiders behind the fucking company.
So you're telling me that
they're trying to say Microsoft and these other big corporations didn't make the best offer or something.
No, okay. The idea is that they're doing the bid system.
Yeah, but dude. Yeah, you just happen to give it to the company full of party insiders.
Named Shadow Incorporated.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, not that Google or Microsoft would necessarily be any better than this company because they have vested interest in establishment candidates as well.
At least they're not party insiders. Fuck.
Exactly, and at least they're gonna do an app that works.
Yeah,
you know,
pretty sure it's Microsoft that did it before. I don't know, man. We just need to not be using fucking apps, obviously. Doesn't matter. Our caucus is probably over with. We'll probably never have the first in the state voting again, and they'll probably get rid of the caucus.
I really did like that you brought that up, because I didn't even really consider that might be one of the reasons why they were doing it, was to completely fuck up Iowa so that...
And to steal momentum from
Bernie.
Because, you know, it was supposed to be a big victorious speech at the end of the night, and then onward to New Hampshire.
Which propagates people that are also sort of on the fence being like, yeah, okay, he can win.
And the story no one's talking about, it's looking like Biden isn't even viable for one delegate.
Yeah. And they want to keep Biden going for a little while. They want to fucking give him a little gimp leg so that he can keep fucking with shit in the campaign and being there and putting on a scene and this and that. I was just... That's it. Oh, getting into what the fourth or fifth sketchy ass thing is when they started doing the reporting. They reported, I think, at one point at 60 or 70%.
62% is where it's
62% reporting in at one point, and they dropped this big thing that Pete Buttigieg is in the lead and is probably going to win. And then Johnny, you showed me this map of the black areas that had not been counted yet were Des Moines, which is an urban center, and urban centers have a lot of young people that tend to be progressive. Des Moines is like, I'm guaranteeing you Des Moines probably like at least 60% Bernie. I don't know the numbers.
They still haven't reported in the satellite caucuses either that Bernie won.
The littler ones. And the other thing that was blocked out was places which were college towns.
Yep.
And it's like...
Oh, but that just happens to be that... Why they're not... Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I'm sick of fucking party loyalists acting like nothing's wrong or shady.
Yeah.
It gets old, man.
Grab a cup of coffee.
So much shit happens, and they fucking always have a way to defend it.
Yeah, man.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But... Oh, well. In the end, Bernie's coming out victorious, and it just looks like they're... But this is just a small taste of what we're going to see, man.
Yeah. Hey, it really sucks when the other person walks off camera, doesn't it?
Yeah, it kind of does. You kind of like don't know what to do.
Yeah, exactly. So just let that be a lesson to you, because you do that to me like every episode. I gotta go take a piss. You keep talking about this.
I can't control my bladder, man.
And I'm like, well, I understand, dude. I'm the same way, but I got that cup of coffee, and I was like, yeah, this is my chance to fuck with him.
Yeah, it did fuck with me up a little bit. I was like, oh, I don't know how to continue this conversation with myself.
Just turn to Roman. He's here, so you can.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So. Caucus night was fun, though. I do like the caucus system. It might not be the best system, but I do like it in that you feel really engaged in the democratic process, and you get to interact with people and maybe win some people over, man. But there was obviously all kinds of interesting things going on with the caucus, right? Here was a funny one, and maybe you guys saw this article. This video. I'm gonna try to play this for you. Johnny sent this to me. It's a homophobic Iowa caucus goer learns her candidate Pete Buttigieg is gay.
Which of these are, and I just want to say, these are the type of people I'm talking about, dude. How do you not know that Buttigieg is gay, and you're gonna go spend an hour or two to go caucus for him? It's not something he's hiding. It's something he's gloating about. That's his thing.
That's his big win, bro.
God damn.
This is funny though, and I still can't play videos, but I'm getting towards the bottom of that. I might have a method where we'll be able to stitch in some video for you guys. I'm going to try to do that with this, but I can't guarantee anything. If not, you'll have to settle for the audio, and I apologize for that. So, why is it coming up weird as fuck like this? All right.
You're saying that he has a same-sex partner? Yes. Are you kidding?
Yeah, he's married to him, yes.
Well, then I don't want anybody like that in the White House. So can I have my card back?
I don't know. He signed it. We could go ask.
I never knew that.
Well, so the whole point of it is, though, if he's a human being, right? Just like you and me, and should it really matter? That's what.
Well, he better read the Bible.
And he says that God doesn't choose a political party because.
Why does it say in the Bible that a man should marry a woman then?
Well, I totally respect your viewpoint on this. I so totally do. But I think that we were not around.
How come this has never been brought out before?
It's common knowledge.
I never heard it.
We can talk to someone if you need to talk to them about this. I don't know.
Anyway, I think that's...
Yeah, and then
Did she go on to say something else?
she says one thing where it's like, it all just went down the toilet or something like that about Pete Buttigieg.
Really?
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Damn, dude, that's fucking hilarious. But yeah, I like how right before we played this, you brought up like these are the people that go and passionately vote for these people, and you don't even know the guy is gay.
Yeah.
If you don't even know he's gay, how do you know anything that he's gonna do for the country? Like, can you? It's gotta be wild, man. Like being so uninformed, but still having these passionate feelings about voting for somebody.
Yeah. It's...
I don't understand it, man. Why? I get a guy that doesn't know shit and doesn't give a fuck and thinks it's all fucking whatever. All right, man. Okay. At least you ain't pretending to be like but then there's these people, man, and they turn out in droves. They vote for Joe Biden, Klobuchar, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker. They give a huge amount of fucks, and they don't know shit. It's weird, man.
Yeah, they like the person. Well, it's also something like they'll meet one candidate, like go to one candidate's thing and like shake their hand, and they feel connected to that candidate.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
Yeah, that's not...
Meanwhile, the interaction just feels like fake as
This is
cardboard.
slightly off
dude.
topic.
Yeah.
But I fucking hate how you'll go to a rally or a town hall for a candidate and someone dares to ask a hard-hitting question.
Everyone's like, boo.
Yeah, everyone's like, sit down, shut up. Ugh.
Yeah,
It's
what
like,
the
why
fuck?
are you like... it's like fucking low-end peons being loyal to the fucking king or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous,
That's what it comes
dude.
That's exactly what it comes down to, man, is most people don't want to think for themselves. The fundamental nature of human beings is to be ruled. And I wish I could remember this quote from Napoleon Bonaparte, and I mean, not to quote a savage dictator that essentially started the First World War.
Shut up, you liberal.
But Napoleon had this quote about, it was something around the lines of, the average individual doesn't want freedom. They want to be told what to do, and only great men and women are the ones that want to be free.
And here's the thing. Like, Trump supporters, like Republicans,
Yeah.
think that's us for wanting Bernie. They do. They think we just want free government handouts and we want big government to control all our lives. That's their thoughts. And they think Trump is like this beacon of the republic.
Meanwhile, he is socialist just for fucking corporations. They're just... Dude, they just take your tax money, you know, and just like shovel it into the fucking corporate... Like, you know, like the big corporate penthouses, right? Up in the fucking sky at the gleaming towers, and there's fucking naked ladies and water nymphs, and the fucking fountains have wine, and there's orgies and all this fucking wild shit. I just have this vision of like every month, right, these rich people in these towers have like a vacuum sealed, like straight out of the Federal Reserve like pallet of money, right? And it says from the taxpayers across it. And it gets like brought up to the room and put in the storage bin, and then they have some servant guy and they break it into bundles, and it's right there by the fire, the big ass fireplace that's the size of half of this wall. And they have a guy that just takes the tax dollars and like throws it into the fire to keep the place fucking heated in the winter. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that's essentially what corporate subsidies are, man. Because it's funny because we subsidize these corporations and give them all these money and give them all these government contracts, and then what do, John Boy?
They shut down the jobs and send them over to...
Yeah. So what the fuck are we
China.
subsidizing? We're not subsidizing. You know, here's the thing. If they were doing that and giving them all this money and not doing the tax breaks and like building factories everywhere and like doing all this great shit, I'd kind of be like, I'm not okay with this, but like, all right.
That's why I don't understand, if they want to keep their gravy train coming in, why they don't do that type of shit.
Because they get the best of both worlds. They get
I know, but it's just they don't think long term, I feel.
Well, no, they're fucking high on cash and power, bro. Like,
Yeah, but I don't know.
Like,
if
what are
I
you
was
gonna
like
do?
that, I would be thinking long term. Like,
Well, the thing
we're
is,
going to make the people pissed. We need to give them toss them a bone.
But if you think like that, then you're somebody that's actually a state builder and a businessman. These people aren't businessmen, dude. They're fucking gamblers and thieves. Like, dude, what do you... These people are, like, addicted to instant gratification and addicted to the, like, oh, I just made another 10 fucking mil today. Hell yeah.
Well, I have read, like, CEOs. Like, there's a book. I think you know what book I'm talking about.
Runaway inequality.
That might have been it. Where it talks about how the CEOs in the 70s were a lot different to CEOs now. Like, CEOs come into companies now and pretty much, like, dissolve them and loot them for all they're worth.
Yeah.
Whereas it used to be the point of a CEO is what you think, to keep the company...
To build the company...
To keep the employees good.
Make gradual improvements.
And it was something like CEOs made 10 times what the workers made. Now it's like, what, 200 times or something crazy?
I read a number, it was like 260 or something like that. I've seen a lot of different numbers with that. But yeah, I mean, you ask, like, why would they do this, like, when they know they're just going to, like, piss the people off and this and that? It's like, bro, because they can get both. They can get all the tax subsidies and shit and, like, buy a new house and all that. And then they can shut the plant down, still get the subsidies, and then turn, like, a 300% more profit by opening a factory in Mexico or China. So it's just like, hell yeah, bro, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Say no to one when you can have both? And they've built this government in a way that they just get whatever the fuck they want. You know? And I just imagine being some rich son of a bitch like, how can I make another $500 million this quarter? Well, this is an example. You know, Jordan in the Middle East they haven't had a good war in a while. Why don't we stir up some trouble? Why don't we have some, because they have a king there, right? Why don't we have some prince get all uppity and we'll give him a bunch of money and guns, which he'll have to pay for later, but we'll borrow it to him. And he'll try to overthrow his granddad.
Yeah.
It'll be a big war. And then the other guy in the room's like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. But you know what we can do after? After all the war and we blow up everything and everyone's dead? We can have them pay us to rebuild the thing. Oh shit, man. Let's go and buy the new yacht now. We'll have the money by the end of the quarter.
And they'll, like, fund both sides of wars, too. Like,
yeah, man.
They'll fund both sides, and then what they've done historically, they'll fund both sides, and then they'll pull the money randomly from one side, so it collapses, and then that side gets fucked.
Yeah. Well, dude, some of these big banks and also some of the big corporations like Ford and shit.
Bayer, which is now Monsanto as well.
They
to Monsanto.
In World War II, this is going to fuck you up, guys. These corporations knew that Hitler was in power, and they knew they were building up the German Empire again, which should be a big no-no after World War I. Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ. Well, they didn't care. They started selling guns and... Well, maybe not guns. I think the Germans did more of their own. They had their own weapons, but they started loaning them money. They started... Ford, like, built shit tons of their Jeeps... All the shit.
Dude, he was given, like, their highest Medal of Honor or whatever by the Nazis. Ford was.
Oh, yeah.
What was it called? There was some name for it.
The Iron Cross?
Yeah.
Or was that a war
It's not the Medal of Honor for, like, war, but it's, like, the highest, like...
Civilian honor. Like the Presidential Medal of Freedom sort of thing, only with Nazis.
Yeah, Henry Ford.
Yeah.
He hated Jews.
So, yeah, and then the financiers in Switzerland and even the big banks here in America were just, like, funneling cash into it, right? And they were borrowing our government money. And then finally FDR, like, I think it was during the FDR, they were like, oh, no, you can't do that anymore. And then they stopped. But by then it was too late. He already had all the shit that he needed.
Yep.
And that, you know what I'm saying? So these companies don't give a fuck, dude. Like, they'll just, whatever makes them money, man, they're going to fucking do it. It's just insanity, man.
Well, dude, and just, like, why do we respect the Bushes? Fucking Prescott Bush helped the Nazis, too.
Yeah.
It's fucked up. And people act like you're talking nonsense when you talk about this shit.
Dude, it's real. It's fact. You can look it up. Read a fucking book. God damn. Or just don't even read the book. Just listen to the people that fucking know and shut your goddamn
television off. Why was George H.W. Bush in Dallas the day of the JFK assassination?
I don't know, Johnny.
As a CIA agent.
I don't know. But you're fucking getting nuts, and I don't want to do this podcast with you anymore. You're talking weird shit. You're losing your mind.
It's fucking bullshit.
Shouldn't have gone on that acid trip in Colorado. You haven't been the same since, you fucking crazy asshole.
I wish I was on an acid trip in Colorado.
And then had these realizations.
That would have been a fun experience. Yeah.
Well, I had a little bit of fun in Colorado a few months ago, and I came back changed, brother. Nah, but we should go to Colorado this summer, man. That'd be great. You gotta come. We gotta get you the fuck out and do a vacation. So start stashing the cash now for it. You know what I'm saying? You too, Roman, if you want to come. Either Colorado, and I know we're getting off subject, but Colorado might be a hard one to pull off. But we should go to Spirit Mountain up in fucking Minnesota, man, by the lake.
I don't think I've ever been there.
It's great, man. You can. Well, the thing is, I'm just saying something close because it's hard to.
Why Utah?
Utah's badass.
Is it?
It's so badass.
It is. Yeah.
Never thought of Utah.
But no, here's the thing, man. Is like we got to do this. So, but probably Spirit Mountain because it is really. They got some mountains and some foothills, and it's right by the lake. I went there a couple years ago and I had an awesome time. And we'll go out there and we'll do some wild shit and worship the devil and whatever.
Sounds fun to me.
Anyway, I think the next thing we should talk about. I was looking at my notes here. Another thing with Pete, we all know he's full of shit. We all know he takes corporate money. He had his fucking wine cave party. You saw this. I think you might have actually been the one to send it to me. He recently hired a Goldman Sachs executive.
Yeah.
To be his.
Don't think I was the one to send it to you though. I think.
Policy.
I don't even. Was that even recent or?
I don't know.
Pretty sure that was like a couple months old.
It might have been.
But yeah, no.
I don't know how I didn't come across it until then.
Yeah, he's a fucking piece of shit. Dude, look at the...
I don't even think
Dude, you can tell that he's worked for a consulting firm just by how he acts, dude.
Oh, yeah. Dude, he's like the guy... I can't remember who said this. I think it was John Erkstrom. Shout out to you, John. I know you watch the show. I think he posted like a meme or something where it's like Pete Buttigieg is the guy that like comes to your company and like talks all this technical shit to explain why you got to lay off 300 people. And then makes a fat bonus doing it. I want to see if I can find that. I think it was in here, Goldman Sachs. Oh, how about that? Yep, here it is. How about that meme of, you guys know the Rage Against the Machine album?
Oh yeah, that's funny.
Where the Evil Empire one, where it's like the like sinister looking white boy and like the shit with the E on it. It's a picture of that right next to fucking Pete Buttigieg, and it's like that kid if he was 20 years older, man. It's fucked up, dude. But it's true. Which, that reminds me, if you guys want to, we do some memes and we send out articles and stuff. If you guys want to, like, join our community and get some more content from us, Johnny, like, to write pieces and stuff and share memes with it, you can follow our Facebook page. Just go to Facebook, type in Entitled Millennials. You can go to the Instagram. We have an Instagram. What was the handle for that? I think it's just Instagram.com/Entitled Millennials/. And then we also have a Twitter now, Twitter.com/ENT Millennials. I'm sharing shit on there all day. I try to make a few posts a day. So yeah, go follow us on that. But yeah, this Pete Buttigieg hires former Goldman Sachs executive as national policy director. Yeah, oh, you're going to try to make me subscribe every time. Let's see. Democratic presidential contender has hired a former Goldman Sachs vice president and Google executive to run his policy shop. His campaign announced on Thursday. Sonal Shah, now executive director of the Beek Center for Social Impact and Innovation at Georgetown University, will be the campaign's national policy director. Shah worked at Goldman Sachs from 2004 to 2007 as a vice president. Which, that's a funny time to be the vice president of Goldman Sachs. I'm pretty sure that's the height of stealing people's money and making subpar mortgages so that you could get rich. So I can't wait for her to,
give some good policy.
God damn, dude, we're gonna have another bubble. Hell yeah, let's get excited about that, man. Fuck yeah. Yeah, I wonder who this. Yeah, man. So, what does that tell you guys? If that's already, he's not even president, and he's already, dude. And here's the thing: Obama did the same thing. Trump's done the same thing. They fucking hire these people, and then my favorite. It's one thing when they're in the cabinet and they're in the administration. My favorite thing is when you put a financial executive in charge of the board for regulating Wall Street. Yeah. Hey, you know what? That's fucking good business, brother. I can't even talk shit about it. You guys know what you're doing. You run this bitch fine, don't you? So yeah, you want more of that? Fucking cast your vote for Pete Buttigieg, man. It's gonna be just fine.
Dude, he's gonna go nowhere after New Hampshire. He might get second or third New Hampshire, and then he's gonna tank.
Yeah, I know. I look forward to seeing it though. It's gonna be great.
Me too. I mean, I don't know. It's fucking.
So
ridiculous.
before we're getting close to an hour, but before we wind this down, I mean, impeachment has been in the news for how long now? We have to talk a little bit about the Trump acquittal. What are your thoughts about all this?
It was obviously going to happen. I don't know. I mean, there was no way in hell the Senate was going to vote to impeach him when they're controlled by the Republicans. And the whole impeachment shit, they didn't bring anything up about, like, his weird shit making money through being president. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, the main thing that somebody should...
because they're all guilty of it too.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
not-
you
they
don't want to
just-
shine a light on that.
It's like Watergate. You know why they took Nixon down? Because he attacked the Democratic elites by breaking into the office and shit. There
Yeah.
was way other shit they could have took him down with. They only care about taking people down when they get fucked with. The elites do.
Oh, yeah.
They don't care about your crimes of making money with the Saudis.
Well, to them, that's not a crime, dude. That's just part
It's
of
how
the
things
job.
work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, why would we... That's part of the business, dude.
It's
Why the fuck do you run... Why do you run for president? To help people and to make the
and all
country
this
better?
has done is
Fuck
made
no.
Trump look like they tried to do a coup on him and they failed.
Yeah.
And then this whole debacle with the fucking caucus gives Trump ammo to say, see, they can't even fucking do their voting
Well, and
correctly. How are they going to run a country?
Yeah, and he gave that speech where he's like, it's
Dude,
rigged.
he has the highest approval ratings of his presidency, I'm pretty sure.
And one has to wonder if that was the Democrats' plan in the first place.
Oh, but Nancy Pelosi tore up his speech, so.
All right, Nancy. Yeah, that was some
What
real
a
good
fierce,
theater.
what a fierce woman.
Yeah, she's gonna.
What a
fuck.
leader.
Yeah, man, I got in a fight with somebody on the internet because that's what I do. I get in fights on the internet, especially since I've been going down this tube of trying to get our social media. You know, I stopped sleeping very well about 4 days ago, right? No reason. I'm not eating anything weird before bed. I'm not drinking more coffee than I usually do, which I do have an issue with that. And then I put it together. I'm like, oh, about 4 days ago is when I started going hard on the social media.
Yeah.
Like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And I'm like, fuck, I'm literally like
I really
constantly
do
looking
like
at my
hate
phone.
social media anymore. It's toxic. We've talked about this, but like people are just.
Yeah, it is.
And I just want to bring this up. How about a local? I'm not going to say his name. How about a local prominent fucking Democrat who's a big money donor for in this area calling fucking Quinn a Russian bot?
Shout out Quinn.
Even though he knows Quinn's been to his house.
Yeah.
These people are fucking in a different world, man.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. So yeah, Trump was acquitted. Everybody saw that coming. If you're listening to this show, you're definitely left leaning. I probably found you on Kyle Kalinske or fucking Jimmy Dore
Unless
or whatever.
you're Libertarian News.
Libertarian News. Shout out, bro. Shout out. But as you know as well as Johnny and I do, that the whole impeachment proceedings, the Democrats knew nothing was going to come of it. It's meant to distract us from Bernie surging and from the real issues that are going on in the country. So no one's surprised. But there's smart Democrats that I know about the whole Nancy Pelosi thing, like her tearing up the speech.
Yep.
These are somewhat intelligent people, but they're like lavishing praise on her. Meanwhile, she was fine with Iraq and Afghanistan. She knew that the CIA was spying on American citizens and did nothing to stop it because she wanted to cover her own ass. She's gotten rich in office for doing the bidding of corporations. But that speech thing was pretty sweet. So.
Oh, it's like when she did that stupid clap thing.
What clap thing?
She was like, last year, I think, when Trump gave a State of the Union.
Oh, like being funny? Like mocking him?
Yeah. People acted like that was some big thing. It's like, dude, just shut the fuck up about her. She's fucking terrible. She is the fucking Speaker of the House for the Democrats to stifle the progressive cause in the party.
Yep, exactly.
She's done countless things to stifle the goals that are going to help working class people.
Or how about that one time, and this isn't Pelosi, but how about that one time when Warren gave a standing ovation for Trump in regards to his... and that's the other thing, Pelosi
Where
voted...
Bernie was sitting there like...
Yeah.
Pissed looking.
But she's a progressive applauding Donald Trump for approving a, $100 billion war budget?
No, it was like $800 billion. Dude, it was
a $100 billion increase, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was $100 billion increase, and it's a large amount of money.
That's quite a few schools, roads, government jobs.
Fuck them.
Healthcare.
Yeah, we'll make those roads.
I'd rather have
fucking Afghanistan.
I would much rather have bullets and bombs and crazy airplanes.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. America, bitch.
Well, and I think
kill
we
some
might have
brown
talked
people.
about this in an older podcast.
Hell yeah. I'm sorry, Roman, but that's what we do here, man.
But you also hear about what they do. Like, a truck will like get a flat tire, and instead of fixing the flat tire, they'll just blow the truck up.
Yeah, and buying. Well, I mean, hey, look, if I had unlimited fucking Pentagon cash,
Probably would be fun. You're just sitting there in a non-combat area, bored as fuck.
yeah, let's shoot a 100mm shell at this thing.
Yeah.
All right, well, get the other one out of the truck and ride it off to the Pentagon. That's fine.
It's fucked up.
Anyway, guys, I think that's probably a good spot to wind it down here.
We're winning this thing, even though they're gonna fucking try to rig it in countless different states. Fuck Pete Buttigieg.
I'll say
Joe Biden.
I'll say one last thing. I know it can be easy to be pessimistic. They have the machine against us, but, and we've said this before on other podcasts, the fact that Bernie is so hopeful, the fact that his campaign feels so confident tells me that they have a contingency plan like they did in Iowa, where they're backing up the numbers. Maybe they have court appeal cases ready, lined up. They know what's going to happen, and I think
they want us
they have a plan.
They want us to be disenfranchised.
Don't let them win.
They don't want us to get this win in Iowa. They want us to be down.
Don't lose hope yet. I know Bernie has a game plan to make sure that they can't outright fuck us. He might lose some of the battles, but he's going to give it a good shot, and you should be there behind him.
When a large portion of judges are corrupt in this country, too, though.
I have my concerns, don't get me wrong. But we will see. That's right. Anyway, guys, we're going to wind it down here. This has been episode number 23. It's been nice hanging out with you, as always. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Help us grow. We're about to hit 400. We can get to 1,000 by July 1st. Help us out. Share us to your friends. Have some conversations. Be like, yo, subscribe to these motherfuckers. They're in it. They're working hard. To all you guys that I've met in the comment section of like Kyle Kalinske, Jimmy Dore, We Are Change, Redacted Tonight. I know it's probably pretty irritating to see me dropping comments all day and night. But, bro, I'm fucking driven, and we are glad to have you with us. Appreciate it. If you want to support the podcast, you can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/double_D. I do poetry, like working class poetry, flash fiction, short stories. They all have underlyings of like socialist or working class conflict, stories about addiction, stories about struggling in poverty. If you're Bernie guys, if you're into this political leftist fucking bullshit like we are, I think some of these stories will really be up your alley. Go on there, check them out. You can subscribe, become a patron for as little as $3 a day, all the way up to $15. If we can start getting that money in, start building, compounding, eventually we'll get money for views once we join the YPP. Johnny and I have a business plan, a game plan to make this content better and to grow this channel to a point where we can do this for a living. And with your help, we can do it. With your help, we can start. We can make enough money where we can go on the ground and interview people and start doing stuff more like Status Coup and bring you guys some real news instead of just doing a podcast, all right? If you want to further support the podcast, you can go to, hang on. If you want to further support the podcast, check out our...
You just fucked this up.
We're going to have to edit that out.
Yeah, wow.
Anyway, I've only done the ad 24 times, but I'll get it eventually. To further support the podcast, check out Bingley's Teas at janeaustinteas.com. There you can find high-end teas handpicked and mixed by the lovely Miss Julia. Or you can visit Julia in person at 118 East 26th Street, suite number 208, to satisfy that deep tea addiction and to be taken on a tea tour of the world. All right, guys. Nice hanging out with you. We'll see you next week, all right? Take it easy. Bye.
We're lined up, taking the divine to spend a little time at mine.